Yeah. So
Wait a second.
yeah, I got one here,
You're
one
in
here.
there?
Yeah. I'm like, well, ah!
I gotcha.
Yeah. We have fun here.
We like to have. Oh my god, dude! My assistant
We
manager said that to a customer, like actually unironically, and I like
no.
no, I fucking I tugged his dick so hard for it. I was like, "You really? We like to
You're
have fun here."
just standing there, just.
Love you, bro. Hey, Donald, this is Paul. Hey, if you get a chance, could you give me a call back, please? Love you, bro. I want to talk to you about the house. Thank you. Donald, this is Paul. Love you, bro. Hey, Donald, this is Paul. Love you, bro.
Ay ay ay!
Ay ay ay.
I'm trying to find good light for you.
I
I
am in front of this big window that
every time see
I always do my shit in front of a window. I think it's not consequently, coincidentally. Yeah, I think it's coincidentally how it works out. But in the last house that we had, I mean, you've been in that room, but I always used to do it like turned around where the
yeah.
window sunlight was facing me. But I'm not good at lighting other than that. Um, I
I'd like
enjoyed.
to.
Oh, okay, wait. We
No, please
both
go
were
ahead.
starting a thing. No.
I insist. I mine was gonna be filibuster. You're good.
Okay. I was just gonna say I enjoyed working at Domino's with you. That was great, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's where all this started, but if I had to, like, if I had the choice of one job, as if we couldn't just keep applying at the same places and
Right.
probably likely get the same job places,
Yeah.
if like we made that our thing. But if I had one choice, someone, gun to the head situation, you have to work one place. You know how that
Yeah.
goes.
No, I've been
Um,
in a few of those, sure.
yeah. And and they were like, you take away Domino's, you get to work one other place with Trevor. I think I would choose what I'm doing now. Um,
Really?
yeah, I know it doesn't sound that glamorous, but I don't know if you have the thing that I have about like it's not like a special skill I have. Plenty of people get it, but it's like not even a skill, but like that feeling I get from doing certain kinds of work, like hands-on
Like,
work, way more
yeah, like real
rewarding.
work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and my last job, Walmart, I mean, was manual labor, but it was so not rewarding because of how monotonous and like, you know, uh, insignificant you seem just in this big factory full of people and boxes. But
Yeah.
now I work a job where I can show up and I touch something and I leave and it was different and it's better now and that just oh my God, that gets me higher than anything I've ever fucking smoked in my life. Like I just love and I've always loved like touching tools and just like fucking with shit and I can't say I'm like a gifted craftsman or anything, but I've always tried to just that's one of those things that I'm like, I want to get better at that. You know what I mean? What's this tool do?
Yeah.
How do you use it? What's the logic behind it? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing it? You know what I mean? Because I also want to just walk up to anything that's broken and be like, well, you just do this and this and this and this. And once you force yourself to do that for so long, I think kind of like, practicing anything, but it almost like trains your brain to just try to constantly problem solve. Um, so like I don't know, I just feel like the more I do like that, the better. Like if I approach a new problem, I've gotten a lot better at just figuring out how to whether I am good at figuring out how to do it. I can figure out how to do it, and I almost don't know what I'm trying to explain. I feel like have gotten better at thinking things through, I guess,
Hmm.
when it comes to stuff like that. But um but it's really like once you get started on one of these kinds of jobs, you realize how like it's a trade, right? And when you think about the word like learning a trade, uh, every other job you've worked, I mean, Domino's, you come in and it's just like, here's the oven, here's the fucking cheese and the dough, and like what we do is we throw it together, it goes in there, it goes out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? With this, it's like you show up to, like, we're roofers, right? So you show up to a new roof and it's like this is a different pitch than the it's a steeper roof. This roof is longer, this roof is higher off the ground, it's got multiple stories, it's got a chimney, pipes, yada yada. There's things that we have to like adapt around. And then you get to a point where it's just like you get to these new and challenging roofs, and it's just like you don't see it as just like, oh no, there's this on the roof, or oh no, this roof's steep. You just see it as just like, well, it's just another thing. You know what I mean? It's just a thing you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Which can be said for everything else that you do when it comes to like just getting used to something. But would you say you feel that? I mean, I don't know if you've ever worked anything like that, or even in your spare time done anything like that, or helped somebody fix something, or sawed a
Uh, n-
board, nailed some nails. Have you done stuff like that before?
no, I've always had a passive interest in that sort of thing, in craftsmanship in general, which is how I got like lightsaber hilts and that Captain America shield.
Yeah,
I've always had like, I want to do this, and if I could do it all the time and I could afford that and I had the time to, that would be great. And the truth is, I do have the time and money to, but I'm just using that time and money for bodybuilding,
right.
and filmmaking. There's just things in front of it.
hmm
Um, but yeah, and that's one of the things I was extremely excited for at the prospect of this maintenance job. Those 2 days shadowing were like some of the best fun I've had at work, because I was just driving around with this guy, getting to know him, while he showed me how to fix things, how to put
Yeah,
together the machines at Planet Fitness, how to recable things. I recabled a row machine, and I can't look at that machine the same when I use it now, because it's like
yeah, yeah.
I
Because
know
now
how
you're
it
thinking
works.
about, yeah, the whole dynamic of everything on that machine, all the moving parts, and you're like,
Yeah.
what? Yeah, it's awesome.
No, it is awesome, and I really wish I had gotten that job, but
Yeah,
it's okay because I haven't dreaded going to work once. That job got that the prospect of that job got me to quit Wegmans, and since I quit Wegmans, I haven't dreaded going to work once. It feels like I never went back to work. It feels like I'm still just like having fun on vacation.
yeah. I mean, having two jobs, you know how my first attempt at that. I mean, I did it for a day and I had a mental
Right.
breakdown. So I was just like, I'm not cut out for that. But I think that alone was probably a lot. And then you put on top of how, I mean, you like Wegmans at the start, and then it started to kind of sour itself for you. So that on top, and then you go to Planet, and then you're not really, I don't want to say you don't do anything, but it's way more laid back and way more just like something that's a lot more your speed. And it's the gym, so it's somewhere you're used to being and you like being, so mentally it stimulates you a lot.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, all that is fun. It's a very easy job, and I love sitting on my ass doing nothing, telling people to go fuck themselves in so many words, stop
Yeah.
bothering me. uh, but I think the biggest thing is the people. So I haven't talked about this, I think, with anybody yet, but I one of the things, it's like a guilty pleasure of mine, is like the people at Planet, the people that I work with, and the people that I'm hanging around are people that didn't notice me in high school. Like those kinds of people were like, I was here and they were over here and like up, and they were operating in both of our minds above me.
Yeah.
And now I'm friends with those kinds of people, and it's easy to be. And I think that's so different. I'm
Yeah.
so used to being part of a different crowd, but there's some sort of like satisfaction. Like I feel like I conquered. I fucking broke in, and now there's an imposter among you. You guys don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
I'm one of them.
I kind of had some of that. I feel like myself just moving to a new state.
Yeah,
You
that
know, when
might be it. That might
that
heavy
I
be
feel
it.
like that's part of it too. Because when you move to a new state, I mean, I've talked about my friend Luke before. Love this guy, lifelong friend. Nobody has ever given that guy a good time. Like,
Yeah.
it's always been a hard time. I mean, he's got some qualities here and there that you're like, well, at least he did when he was like a fifth grader or whatever, and then going up through school and stuff. But he's very easily a normal guy now. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Good.
But people just like, it's always just been like so anti-Luke. Everybody over the years in school, nobody gave Luke a chance, but a couple people, including me. And I forgot where I was going with that. What were you talking about?
Being friends with people who never would have been friends with me
Right.
in high
Yeah,
school.
yeah. So he randomly moved over to Illinois from Iowa in middle school. And when he got over there, he was one of the most popular people in the school. And I thought he was full of shit when he was telling me this because he had been known to tell a little white lie here and there until he
Yeah.
took me. I went over there one time. His mom came back to our town and picked me up, and I went to go stay with him for a while. He took me to his school. There was like a dance, like a function. He took me there, and my God, have I. He was a completely different person. He was a god in their eyes, and it was so weird because all he did is he kind of, as you get older, you get better, you get less cringier, you learn.
Yeah.
So he had gotten that way, but he wasn't able to escape the image that people already really had to him or of him. So, when he got to this new school, he kind of just turned up his charisma and painted a new picture, and it worked out completely. And you know who else did that? Modeled
You?
almost exactly off of that? I did. I did. Because I took everything about the Iowa John that I fucking hated, and I've talked to Alyssa about this a lot. I was like, let me try to reset if I can. Because I'd gotten to a point where I was like, it's either this or the rope.
Yeah.
So, and moving to a new place was also like a perfect time to like, let's just try out being a new person. So the person you met was even a different version of the person that I was in Iowa because I was like just taking in my surroundings and trying to react as differently as I thought I would have in the past. You know what I mean? Try to make different, safer, better, thought out choices, better
Yeah.
ingredients, better pizza. John
Better
Gone West.
bitches, better money. My clothes are better. My shoes are better. I'll work harder.
So I imagine that you've done a little of that yourself.
I've done almost that exactly. It was a little surreal hearing you say that. Except I did take a bit of a different approach because I felt like, what the fuck? I felt like in Arizona I played things too safe. So when I first moved here, my biggest like thing, even before I started going to Planet, was like I have to say hi to as many people as possible. I have to just say hello and start talking and hope that I figure it out. Uh, because that's something I never did in Sierra Vista. Everyone I needed to know, I knew, and so it was just good. And I had zero like introduce yourself and make yourself presentable skills. And Weston commented on that when he came up, and it was really validating because I had worked so hard on it. He was like, "I cannot believe." Like he said, he told me I bought a shirt. I bought this cool Beatles shirt, and he was like, he was talking to me when we got home about how like weirded out he was seeing me like just strike up a conversation about a like with a stranger about the Beatles, and he watched it like just get deep. Like I just dug deep into him so quick, and I was talking to this person, this old woman, like I knew her, and then we just left, and he was like, "I cannot believe I watched you do that because I never would have seen you do that before, and I'm not sure I can do that same thing." And I was like, I felt so good hearing him say that because it was like affirming from someone who knew me in Arizona that I am
Yeah.
making a change, a positive change, a good, I'm on the right track at the very least. But I have done that same thing, yeah, of just like when I got here, I was like, I can control exactly what people know about me,
Mm-hmm.
exactly what
Mm-hmm.
anyone knows about me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's kind of
everything I've
cool.
told you so far could have been a lie.
That's true. Yeah, you
Yeah.
just found out when I moved up here that I used to Naruto run in 8th grade, and I was happy leaving that dead.
Oh. Oh yeah, your girlfriend told me that.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I had been so careful to
Wow.
keep certain things hidden.
Yeah. Oh, she's funny.
She is funny. She is
She was
funny.
holding that one in, I feel like.
It is kind of nice to be up here and be able to tell people like, oh yeah, in middle school, oh yeah, Rose and I would do this. A lot of people
Yeah.
wrongly assume we've been together that long.
Yeah,
I have to like
well,
explain like we've known each other and there's been speckles, but
yeah.
it hasn't been continuous that whole time.
Well, I mean, you had the same thing with me and Alyssa.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
true.
I constantly had someone to like, if I couldn't explain something, I would always refer back to Alyssa and be like, you try to tell them through your view.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like you almost, with some ins and outs, obviously spent a lot more time with me, but you almost just know damn near about as much Alyssa as you do me at this point.
Yeah, I feel like I did get to know both of you pretty good. I was just telling Rose, I wish so bad that you lived in my trailer park.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I would love, like, my favorite episodes, not my favorite episodes of Caps Off, like how they came out, but my favorite to record were the ones where Alyssa was there, and she wasn't a host, but she would just come in with
Mm-hmm.
some insight or the perfect joke, and her presence was never unwelcome. And I was like, I would love to have you there for that as well. Me and John are talking, and when there's just a slight gap we can't bridge, it's one of you because that was like the most useful thing in the world. I loved that.
Only recently has she allowed me to or like accepted anything I've said about it, but she has always been like zinger, you know what I mean? Like
No, she
snappy.
is.
She is
She's fucking
she's incredible. And
fast
I've
and good
always
with
been
it.
like,
Yeah.
you're fucking funny, which is like the thing that like, because she always claims that it was me being funny that initially drove her towards me.
Hmm.
Like when we met, and she always just liked how funny I was. And I'm a send in the clown, I try to make everything I do funny. It's like a curse I have. I think it's like Michael Scott syndrome. But
Yeah.
I mean, I love comedy. And so it's just crazy to hear that like that's what it was and I was the funny person, and then like I spent 8 years with this person and I'm constantly like sitting back in my chair like that was funny. That was really fucking funny. I never would
Yeah.
have thought of that. Holy shit. And then I'll like tell her like you're funny. You're really funny. Like you don't realize it sometimes, but you're really funny. But you can't
I
let her get
I
too big a head too, though, because then she'll just start she'll try to be like me, and then she'll try to make a joke out of everything, and then they fall flat.
That's
But
how
it's
you
got
get
it's got to
dry
be
Harley
natural.
knowers.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. You got
uh
me sitting here all day long working on like how can I make that joke funnier? And then she's using it just because she's trying to use every second of her breath to make you laugh.
One thing up here is I have so many prepped jokes from years of Caps Off, from making these stupidest jokes and just like testing them in
Hmm.
Arizona, and I thought I was just hearing funny things and then telling them to my friends. But now I realize I have an unlimited pool of like funny references and like quick jokes that I've stolen that no one's ever gonna know I stole. And so a
Uh,
lot of people up here think I'm so hilarious because I have just
you are
in the archives of
hilarious.
no, but I reuse so much shit because it's just in the archives of my brain, and I'm the only one who knows, like, oh, John said that in a very specific context, but I just stole it because the context just happened to show up again. You
You
know?
know, since you've been listening to Tell 'em Steve, Dave, I feel like every episode you get in, the less funny and smart I get because when I re-listen, I think about the things that I've probably just relayed based off of that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
he's hearing this and he's probably heard it from my mouth before because I heard it from this.
I've had a
And
couple of things like that, but I'm doing the same thing. I told
okay.
Sean the other day. Sean told me his friend got in a car accident, or his sergeant got in a car accident, and
Ooh.
I was like, "Did you tell him fuck?" I said, "Did you
Yes.
tell him he's supposed to suck dick from the passenger
Yes.
seat?" And he lost his mind laughing at that, and I was like,
I know. I have thought about that the other day, and I was like, if I get the chance, if I ever see someone in a car accident, I was like at work, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking use it.
it's between that and hey, you can't park there.
Yeah, yeah. Which is an instant classic.
Yeah.
But to round it back to where this whole tangent started on all these different levels, out of all the jobs, I wish you worked on this with me because I feel like you would really enjoy a lot of the just. Because after doing it for like 2 weeks, you're like, a monkey with a hammer could do this. But it's really like you enjoy the kind of like applying it to different houses and trying to make it work differently, and then just the little challenges that come with new houses and different types of weather, yada yada yada. And then there's like I've worked at quite a few places. I've never been a part of like a crew that I felt like, even though I don't really like these people, I feel somewhat bonded to them, which is what I feel like people get out of the military a lot. Like that's the kind of bondmanship that they get out of. And because when I think about the military, I'm like, I don't know, just being with a bunch of dudes all the time. I don't really know if I could be like, I gotta keep doing that. And it was awesome. It was the best days of my life.
Yeah.
But the more you think about it, like I'm not super fan of my coworkers, but when it comes to a house, I feel like shoulder to shoulder with them, and it's just like we got to get this motherfucker done, so let's do it. And it's only 4 of us, so. But my favorite thing is just like I'm doing something handy like I wanted to at my last job and not getting screamed at in the face, and it just gives me that good feeling again, because that last guy who screamed at me a lot, he really zapped it out of me.
Yeah, understandably.
I didn't feel accomplished going home, but now I do. And then also like we're just a bunch of idiots, so like we smoke while we're doing it, and
nice.
and we take breaks, and we all usually just go to like a gas station together, and I'd be getting a gas station hamburger that tastes very reminiscent of the ones that like I would get at school, and it's not good, but I love it for some reason because it's like, I don't know, I just get this burst of like, this is my reward for being a good little boy and doing my little work and getting paid for it. And so I mean, it's just, and I just feel like the only thing I'm missing is someone on the crew that I truly enjoy being around. And so I was just thinking, like, if I had Trevor here, not only would I have someone who's witty and like quick and I can play back and forth with, like when we get with someone else, we can get funny and shitty, and and these guys are the same way. Like there's Tristan, and the other 2 dudes are fairly good friends. You might as well consider them you and me friends.
Okay.
So their humor back and forth is very quick. They're very aligned, and I can't get on top of them a lot. So having you there as well would help me get the upper hand on them, and we could make them look like idiots, like the way they make me look like an idiot very much, because I'm just trying to be nice, and I'm not trying to be like a sarcastic shithead. I'm just trying to genuinely do a good job, so they catch me off guard all day long. Very gullible. I'm just an idiot.
Can I build on that real quick?
Yeah, please do.
I don't think I would want to do that kind of job with you.
Yeah.
My perfect ideal job that I would want John Van Hook with me on is Uptown 3.
Yeah.
I'd go back
Oh,
to
yeah.
Uptown and I'd spend every single day just the two of us on shift. That'd be badass.
Yeah. I mean, we can either confirm or deny whether your whole time in Uptown 3 you did have sex with someone in the theater just by
Right.
just the two of you. But if the two of us worked there, I guarantee it probably would have happened at some point.
I forgot that was a goal of mine, and I forgot I had somebody lined up for that too.
Ah!
I forgot. If I knew then what I knew now, I'd be unstoppable.
And in a movie theater.
If I had the powers then that I have now,
Yeah.
maybe
Well,
I'll move back one day and just conquer the place in every way I always wanted to. Now that I had to go on my hero's journey, and now I can come back and be the hero.
well, so it goes, you know.
Right.
But I thought you'd really enjoy it. Of course, it's not realistic because I can't just zap you here. But I mean, I think if out of any of my friends, if I get picked to just do this with me, it would definitely be you. Because just imagine, I mean, we're doing work, but we're also literally just like we could just be talking all day long. Like I can
Yeah.
talk and work at the same time, and the job we're doing, I mean, like I said, you do it a week or two, and you're just gonna your hands are moving,
Yeah.
and the job's just getting done. So we'd be podding and making movies like never before, just because of all the shit we'd be talking about. Oh, I came up with something that I wanted to text you this morning, and I was like, I feel like there's a call coming up soon, so I'm gonna put it away. But
Okay.
I thought of this cool is a very like Walt Flanagan, Joe Rogan-esque idea, but I thought like because of the rising tension in Russia and Ukraine and how there's talks of nuclear,
Draft now.
yeah, and talks
They're
of
drafting a shit ton of people.
nuclear war. Um, I thought I just had this like scenario or movie idea in my head, if you will. I got this idea where like, what if it got to the point where like Russia launched something or did something, and the U.S. felt they had to have like a heavy rebuttal, and that happened, and then because of that, they feel like it's just got to go all out. So then like Russia attempts to bomb the US with nukes, and then obviously America would then bomb Russia with nukes. And I thought how cool it would be if it got all the way to that port, and then that part, and then you know how another thing that's been like getting more and more prominent in the news is like alien sightings and shit, and like UFOs and talks of this and that. I thought how cool it would be if it got to the point where like America and Russia launched fucking nukes at each other, right? And then nukes just disappeared in the sky. And then they were like, what the fuck? So they launched some more and they just keep disappearing. And then like these huge alien ships just start like coming down, and all the major like because they made the nukes just disappear because they're like wait, this is not gonna go well. And then they like
we just
like
got here.
that's the moment where like they make themselves known. You know what I mean? We got like District 9, like these huge ships all over the big major cities and shit, and like that's when they
Yeah.
finally make themselves known, and they like basically strong arm the world into getting along.
That'd be kind of neat. I didn't know. What do you mean there are alien sightings in the news? Like that's like
You
a
haven't heard
prominent
anything
thing?
about that?
No, I don't really.
Well,
No, you
they
know me. I
yeah.
stay away from like any kind of
Okay.
like real news
Well,
source.
it's kind of come after like there's been like an uptick of like different like pilots that fly like jets, like fighter jets in the military have like these weird sightings of like objects that will like just be suspended and then like away or something like that.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
they have all these reports, and then just like the beginning of last summer or something, I don't know. It was within the last year they the White House or something released like everything that they had on UFOs and shit, which basically wasn't a
I
lot, but
remember
it was a lot
that.
of like
Yeah.
sightings and stuff. But it's just been a lot of
The
talk of
big
like,
thing was that it
and I
was
get
even a
TikToks,
confirmation that that
yeah,
kind of stuff was there, right?
yeah, and I get
Sorry,
TikToks
go on.
all the time of like people thinking they see aliens. So I just feel like that's been a lot, something that's been really talked about in the years later. We did that. I remember the episode Save Rosie the Shark.
Yeah, yeah, and you were like, if I just listened to that one a couple of months ago. Yeah, and you were talking about like if
Because that guy had
shit, I
come
remember that
out and
whole
said
thing.
that guy had come out and said that he was like an ambassador for Earth to like the Galactic Empire or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
Oh, what was that joke we made? We kept making a joke about something you were wearing on your wrist that was funny. Someone was wearing something on it had a funny name. I fucking forgot. But that was a good episode. I listened to it in the Wegmans cooler. I was
yeah,
putting away putting away the clean and cut veggies.
yeah. Shout out Weston.
Yeah, shout out Weston. Rose, the first full episode of Caps Off Rose listened to was just a little bit ago, and it was the one I just edited and put up, 30. Which I should have. I wish I had that.
The one she was there for and fell asleep halfway through.
Yeah. And she thought that shit was so funny. I think I laughed the hardest when we were talking about puke, and you talked about something something like nothing tastes good throwing back. Like you'd never like eat something and be like, that was pretty good. Mom really knocked that out of the park. I
Yeah.
think I'll try it again. You puke it up. That shit was funny. It had me rolling. The cool thing about that one too was like I remembered having the conversation, but not enough for it to be boring. Like it felt new. It still felt new to me. Like I was
Yeah.
hearing two people that weren't me talking.
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously a lot I remembered about doing that, but I got the same feeling like most of it was just like it felt like it was like not even me I was listening to.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I thought that was our single best episode ever.
You think so?
Yeah, I didn't really get annoyed with myself. I think maybe once, but compared to the amount of times I normally get annoyed with myself on Caps Off, that was pretty good.
Well, then by that logic, they're only gonna get better.
Yeah, exactly.
Love you, bro. Hey, Donald, this is Paul. Hey, if you get a chance, could you give me a call back, please? Love you, bro. I want to talk to you about the house. Hey, Donald, this is Paul. Love you, bro. Hey, Donald, this is Paul. Love you, bro.
But same with Harley Quinn.
Yeah, they both came from that series. Lots of good writing out of that series.
You know, speaking of which, there's a hang on, I'll be right back. And then I'll tell you about this.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Living in suspense.
Would have been back sooner, but she was singing in the shower. I stopped to have a listen.
Nice.
Like a good boyfriend would.
Right.
All right, friend. Cheers.